mayhem. You were warned about this. Saturday carnage. I promised you. I feel like I've delivered. Independent woman by no one else than Elbow. And to be perfectly honest, if it's anything like me, you're not hearing this anyway, so you've got nothing to worry about. But what a great exposition of feline flattery and fame from our tabby cat. Tabbies to tigers. This is Saturday. Going to get that out of the way for you now, because we're going to move on to something like this. This is massive. Massive. This literally does change everything. Hey, welcome to Saturday. I hope you're having a great day today. I know it's sunny out there in the back of beyond, wherever you are. Chances are it's going to be sunny, except if you're in the dim recesses of the south of England, in which case invariably it's going to be hacking it down, because that's the way the world works these days. Somebody upside downed the world. It used to be grim up north, and now where we are, everybody wants a bit of the north these days. Yeah, so what's going on with this? Are we having some or what? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Get out of that. Oh, beautiful. Right, yeah. So welcome back. This is always going to be a little bit of a carousel show on a Saturday, and spontaneously delivered, as always, with a very serious message. Just been reading a fantastic book by a wonderful woman called Jane. Worst Idea Ever, it's called. And it wasn't actually. It was the best idea, because I started reading it first thing this morning, Saturday, and the heavens opened. It was carnage out there. And it's chick lit, and who doesn't need a little bit of chick lit in their lives on a Saturday morning? So thanks for sitting down, chilling out, kicking back, and getting a little bit of your dose of the thack today. We have got a serious message, and you can see it on your screen now. Preaching from the pulpit. What's he talking about? You're probably thinking, this changes everything. Well, what does everything mean, and what is this? Well, look, between you and me, how this works is we've got a little bit of a media empire going on here. You've got this, which is primarily the home base for this, and you might be seeing this quite by chance on YouTube. You might be kicking back on Facebook, sick and tired of reading philosophical statements from the mother-in-law, and you thought, oh, this looks interesting. There's a PowerPoint presentation on a Saturday afternoon. It's exactly what the world needs. Or you might be on LinkedIn and just go, God, I need a new job. Maybe this is the profit that we've been asked about. Yeah, from the profit at work to the profit on a Saturday afternoon. Who knows? But primarily, what I wanted to do today was talk through something that's been gnawing and nibbling on my mind for ages. And I was looking for a way that I could express it to you, to give you the same sort of awe bomb that I got several years ago when I suddenly started seeing the lights to the capabilities of, this is your chance, this is your cue to switch off now. Anybody who's probably not really on LinkedIn, content management systems. Yeah. What's he doing on a Saturday talking about that? Well, you know what? Doesn't really matter, does it? It's just a good chance to have a chat. And more often than not, when I am here on a Thursday morning, you ain't got time for that, have you? And Saturday's as good a time as ever. So thank you for coming in and for listening to a little bit of a natter about the CMS, because what I'm going to talk about today is something called the content model, or specifically what you can do with your content to take your flipping business into overdrive. Right, so let me set the scene. Back in the day when we started nibbling at content, we used to create a bunch of static pages. Yeah, you never knew what was on them. You never hit Control and F. You never went to find things, and more often than not, you just kept on building pages. You had 3,000 pages. Who needs that, right? You don't want that because it's hard to find stuff. And apart from say the header and the footer, you're probably gonna, more often than not, create duplicate content, which makes Google angry. This is diabolical. It's what the word diabolical was invented for. It's wasted time, it's wasted pixels, it's annoying the heck out of your customers. A number of times I've been working on these websites and I'm like, well, it should be there. Why is it not on this page? Because there's another page that pretty much does exactly the same thing, except it's got that nugget of information that I was looking for on the original, the OG. Just crazy times. We're all guilty of it. Doesn't matter who we are. We'll have our hand forced. Somebody will say, "Oh, I need a new page put up quick," and you're like, "Oh, I think we've already got on." And then you can't find it. It's like, "Oh, we need it up by the end of the day." Can't find it. If you're working on WordPress or Drupal or any one of these Plone or Interwoven or any of these arcane CMSs, Sitecore, Kentish, that one, even Webflow or whatever, any of the new ones, you can't get to that minutia, that granular level of detail, that word on a page without going through each page individually. It's a proper ball ache. By the way, I recommend, if you haven't had a chance yet, go and check out Ian Lee and Catherine, I can't remember what her name is now, on YouTube. They've just moved across from Twitch to YouTube now, and they are Patreon funded. And they had a half-hour cheeky glimpse at the capabilities of this duo, who have been known many, many places before. They came over from Talk Radio. Little bit of an issue over there, but less said about that the better. And now resplendent on YouTube, and as I say, you get half an hour free. I think they're on this afternoon, actually, probably on about now. I'm competing with the geniuses. We'll always lose that battle, but I'll win the war. So you've got you've got this problem with content where you don't know where it is, and most people fit that criteria. Looking at, if you joined me on website rewrite the other day, you'll have heard me mention that, you might have heard that, like, Alberta Public Services has got 75,000 health services, 75,000 pages and counting. How are you going to find anything there? You're not, right? So that's really why a content model is important. What is a content model, David? It's what you're probably saying. Well, it is your passport to code, to create once and deliver everywhere. Right. So if you imagine that you've got 50 different data fields, 50 different content fields, right, that make up your website. Yeah. So say you're an agency and you do SEO and digital marketing. I might go into a little bit about that later. You've got these buckets of content. And within each of those buckets, you've probably got certain things that you want to say. So if it was SEO, for example, you might have these are, here's why you should use us. Here's the people in the team who deliver this service. So you're starting to get a picture of the sort of the data ecosystem for that particular service, whatever. And you need to represent that in a data way, but without being abstract. It needs to be connected to one another. What you're trying to do is, if you've seen mind mapping, or you've seen even like a spider's web, we've got these little content fields, which essentially are nodes, which is just one point on that big map, that big web. And you want to try and connect them together. And the reason why you connect all these little data fields, as like a errantly suggested they might be before, and they are really that, you want to connect them all together, is because you don't want to duplicate content. So the idea is that, for example, and we're going to talk about this, global gardeners, right? Say you are creating case studies, and your case studies first and foremost, are there to reassure your undecided customer that they've landed on the right page and they're about to work with the right client. So the first thing you need to do is think, okay, well, these customers, right? What are their top tasks? Why are they on the website? So imagine I've got an overgrown garden and I've seen your website and I have heard that you mow really well, but I want to see examples of projects you've completed, gardens you've mown in my vicinity. And I know you can't go down to that sort of distill it to that specific level of detail where here's somebody down your road, John at number 26, here's his garden after we finish with it. I know that. This is where we can be quite smart. So say you were in Chesterfield and you, as in you are Global Gardeners Inc., have just completed a fantastic bit of work somewhere else is it West Yorkshire? I'm going to go with that, probably Derbyshire, one of those counties. Right, so it's in the same county. So you're able to say in one of these content fields, one of the projects you've completed is in West Yorkshire or Derbyshire or whatever. So you use a location field, wherever that might be. And then when your prospective customer, the undecided guy, comes to your website and clicks on search, and then on the filter, the drop down, or just by free form text, is able to type his location, you using something like locate, which is LOQATE, or using your own taxonomy, are able to identify their town or what county it sits in and constantly move out until you hit a case study that is tailored to that specific prospective customer's needs. What's amazing about this is that that's just one example, right? But because you've created a content field that's got that town in it as a taxonomy, theoretically, that means that anything that you do in that area then can be presented to that user on that page where they found the search results that relate to show me somebody whose garden's been mown by you in the area. So they've said that they're in Chesterfield. So you could show any news about anything that you've done in Derbyshire. Or say, for example, they want some block paving doing. And another one of your content fields is services that you offer. So apart from mowing grass, you also lay drives. All of a sudden, you can then show people stuff so that if your prospective client wants their grass mown, but you haven't got anything in the area, then you can show all of the case studies or the projects that you've completed that have involved mowing grass in that country. So there's no dead ends. There's no dead ends. Your content that was formerly static becomes dynamic data that can be served up programmatically. So you're creating that web, that information structure, that model, the content model that will work on so many different levels. And this is what's so exciting. I've already introduced Global Gardeners, so I don't even need to worry about that anymore. What do they need to know? We talked about that. To where we are right now, this is what makes me so very excited about why we need to be rethinking how we create content. And also, by the way, let me just scoosh out. Craft CMS, we've talked about these guys before. They do this really, really well. And essentially, you can do this on any modern CMS. You could do this on WordPress. You could do this on Drupal. You could do this on Craft. You could do this on Kentish. You can do this on Sitecore. You can do all these different. But really, you need to pull back and you need to be thinking about what you want for your customers, what information they want to know. Because let's pull back even further. Once you start converting your static content to dynamic data and then use that to inform your on-site search, you can create what we call faceted search now. You can start moving into the world of, say, Misguided or Pretty Little Thing or ASOS or Hollister. Or all these people, Debenhams used to do this really, really well as well, where facets are, you can search on different criteria. You can say, okay, well, I'm a male. I like pink, really big fan of frilly dresses, and I'm a 32-inch waist. You search on all those different criteria, and because you've then presented the website with all those different data fields, the flexibility for the supplier, the provider, the e-commerce merchant, to give you information that may be useful to you if they can't provide you with specifically what you want, is that much more magnified. This is what excites me. The fact that you can, if you want to, you can be so much more free and tailored and personalized to your customer by using this approach, that really, if you start thinking now about the content model that represents your organization, in 2 months' time, you can take a really flat website that's just talking to everybody and make that website talk to every individual customer. And here's the last thing that I'm going to tell you. It does change everything, because now that you've created this content type, and the chances are this content now sits outside of the presentation layer. So previously, you just throw everything into a content management system. You'd have all of your data, you'd have all of your images, all of your CSS. And let's be honest, what a content model effectively is CSS for your text, for your written content. That's what's making it dynamic. Previously, your presentation layer would also be your information layer, and it would all be part of the one thing. Now, what I'm preaching, ideally, is that your content sits in a separate bucket to the presentation layer. It's good for performance, because you're taking away a lot of the load, the technical debt. It's very clean. But also, it means that information that you've now set up and structured in a content model can be used not only for your website, your app, to inform your intranet, to inform your newsletters. It's so consistent because you've just got one source of truth, which is amazing. But you can also use it for all your printed materials as well, because all that content is not any more wedded to your website. It sits as a microservice. It sits outside of this environment, which means that you can fire requests into this new bucket. Don't make a hole in it. There's one at the top. It's there for a reason. Fire all these requests into that content bucket. Get it coming back in any sense to anyone. Say you've got a new CRM. Say you've got a new email newsletter system. Say you've got so many reasons, so many ways, so many opportunities to use that content once you use a content model, which is why, as I say, it changes absolutely everything. And right, I've had a smashing Saturday today, and I hope you have. And it's been great seeing you. And really, to be honest, that's about it now. So thanks for joining me. And we'll have much more website rewrite over the next few days, which is nice for us all. But again, keep on flooding in with your requests, suggestions, ideas. What do you want? What do you want here? What do you want to talk about? How can I help you with your website? Don't forget, I did this before and I've not even used it. Look at this. Bang. That's what we're here for. Dave Thackeray from Word and Mouth, wordandmouth.com. Website's just in the process of being defenestrated at the moment and put back together again. But at Dave Thackeray on the tweets or on LinkedIn, always around, as you know. I just wish you a fantastic day today. In 4 hours and 8 minutes, because it's 3:52 on the dot, we're going to be playing the Ukraine in the quarterfinals of the Euros 2020, which it shouldn't be. It's 2021, but I know all the merchandise was printed well ahead of time. It will cost too much money for that. But it's going to be a great night tonight. I can't wait to see how we fare. Top tip, probably going to be, and this is immortalised now, isn't it? 2-1 to England. And I think Harry's going to score again, because after the last time, God knows, he's got to be on a roll, hasn't he, by now? Thanks for joining me. Website rewrite. We are done for the Saturday carnage, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.